V wanted to add a lot of pepper, so I won't eat the food.
That whole pepper thing is completely out of context. Because I remember that conversation with Liko and I was like, this food matter is getting too much in this house.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Azzy Williams. How are you all doing? Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are fine. If you're new to this channel, kindly click on the subscription button. Click on the notification bell to let you know whenever I post any new video. Okay guys, so today's episode was all about gossips. Apropos, I'm sure if I was in that show, they would have called me. Like, they picked Brighto's name like 5 times as the head gossiper of the clan. So yeah, that is it. So the show started. They started with addressing the whole pepper issue. You guys remember now the whole statement of V saying she puts pepper in her food so that those that have ulcers cannot eat, and there are only 2 people in the house that actually have ulcer. That is Dorothy and Erica. It was now time for Dorothy and V to trash it out. So guys, Dorothy said, at her then she didn't really see any reason, like she didn't really see anything much about it. But when she got out of the house and watched the clip, she now said, okay, it makes sense, because the few times she actually ate V's food, it was very, very pepperish. And V on her own end was trying to say that really she's that kind of a person that, that first of all, that whole statement was taken out of context, that she does not intentionally put pepper for people who cannot eat her food, like people who have ulcer, that basically she likes pepper, so she just puts pepper and exclude those people so that they will not eat. And besides, Dorothy has only ate her food like a few times, with Dorothy concord. But Dorothy said, I mean for the fact that you are cooking for us and you put plenty pepper, that means it was intentional. V was trying to argue that it was not intentional. At the end of the day, Ebuka came in, made V to understand the reason why, that was intentional. And at the end of the day, it's established they were not beefing. I love the way they addressed the issue, I won't lie. They're not beefing, but they just had to like get things straight. Yes guys, so it was now time to cast votes, like I told you guys earlier, for who is the head gossiper in the season of Big Brother Naija Lockdown Edition. So Brighto got 5 votes. I think Neo got 2, and Lucy. So it was basically Brighto that got the title of the head gossiper of the season. So we started again with Brighto, this time around about the praise issue. Yes guys, and before the praise issue, we had the Neo situation. You all remember that conversation that Brighto had with Kid Wire at their gym. Yeah, that place they always do exercise in the morning, where Brighto was telling Kid Wire that Neo is such a liar and he brags and he lies a whole lot. And you all remember later that Sunday, Ebuka asked that question, that Sunday where Ebuka said, if you are denying it, it's either you're denying it or you're a chicken. Yeah, so that was brought up again, and Neo was like, after that he actually did have a conversation with Brighto, not like, oh, did you say it or you did not say it, but actually wanting to know what actually made Brighto feel that way. Brighto on his own end was like, there are so many times that Neo, who hasn't even traveled abroad at that time, will always come out to like say things like, oh, name streets in London and everything. Neo on his own defense said, he always calls himself the broke boy from a rich family. He has siblings that have traveled everywhere in the world, so of course he has to know all those information and everything. So yeah, basically that was it. Then we came to the praise situation. Yes, the praise fiance situation. Now, Praise says that Brighto should apologize to his ex-fiancée, yes, about what he said about her age. Now, you also remember that Brighto had a conversation with Kid Wire at the dining table, and according to Praise, when he made that statement, that a lot of people came to her page, that's his ex-fiancée's page, and Nigerians now dragging her, saying all sorts of things. She had to put her page on private. Yes guys, so it's really caused a lot of issue, and he was demanding that Brighto tenders an apology, which Brighto said he doesn't see any need to apologize. And according to Praise, he said he has waited so that at this reunion he can actually apologize openly. Now it was now V's turn to talk about it, and V was trying to say, yes, Brighto actually owes Praise an apology and his fiance an apology, but I mean, why wait so long about it? Why wait so long to have a conversation? I mean, this is something, you know, he would have like done since, apologized. And Lekon also, you know, chipped in and said, I mean, since the error or the wrong was done publicly, it's only right that he apologizes publicly. And Brighto on his own says that he owes no one any apology. He also adds that, you know, Praise did not tell him to apologize to her and he's just hearing it for the first time. Yes, which Praise also, you know, repeated that he only did that because he wanted the apology, you know, to be public. At the end of the day, Brighto was like, he's not gonna apologize, and Praise was like, fine, if you feel you're not gonna apologize, fine, let it go. And Ebuka was like, are we cool with that, you know, since you feel you don't owe her an apology? And, you know, this one says fine, and that was it. That was how the case closed. But before then, there was like a little bit of back and forth with V and Praise, you know, and also Lekon was on Praise's side, and V was like, I mean, why wait for so long to have this conversation? Now, away from that, we now came into the whole Lilo and V situation. Like, I almost forgot that there was a time in that house that Lilo and V were friends. Now, we had the issue of V nominating Lilo, and you all remember that Lilo came out of the house and she found out that V nominated her and she was really pissed about it. Now, V said she nominated Lilo because she didn't think Lilo wanted to be in that house, you know, like she didn't, like there was no hunger for her to be in that house. I mean, we all saw that too. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. So, Lilo on her own was pissed with V, was like, I mean, you are my friend in the house. I mean, if you feel I was too attached with Eric, you should have at least come to me. I mean, Lilo also mentioned the fact there was a conversation with Katerina, and, you know, she told V, and V was like, you know what, stick with Eric, that Eric loves you and everything. Like, I mean, you should have told me as my friend. Now, Ebuka was now asking why V did not tell her friend, you know, what she thought, and V was like, at that time, she did not really think, you know, and V also said, you know, at that day, when 4 of them were nominated, that was Praise, Eric, Katrina, and Lilo. For Katrina, it was an easy thing because, I mean, she and Katrina, they don't have a relationship, you know, and she was, you know, she had to pick Praise because she was closer with Praise. And then Ebuka was like, okay, you are not closer with Eric as you know, said before, which she said it was a lie, because initially her reason was she was closer with Eric. She now said it was a lie. So, and Lilo and Eric were in the same relationship. Why did you have to pick someone else over who you think is your friend? So she said she felt bad about it and apologized to Lilo outside, you know, after the show. And ever since, she has never nominated any of her friends again. And Lilo was like, yeah, but I mean, I know you apologized, but you saying that you felt I didn't feel like I wanted to be in the house that much, you know, that's really, really messed up. So that was how that, you know, issue was dropped, because Lilo was like, you know what, there's no point, let's just move on with it and everything. Now, moving on, we're now shown a clip of Lucy and Katerina and Dorothy gossiping about Tochi. Yes, so you remember that scene where Dora was doing Katerina's makeup and Lucy was venting about how entitled Tochi is, that if it was when Nengi was the head of house, he would really literally do everything that Nengi asked him to do, and Dorothy was complaining about him, like he always waited for her to greet him first. So Tochi on his own, when he saw that clip, he said he was hurt, you know, so he started, you know, talking about the whole issue. And he said about Lucy, because first of all, Lucy was asked, and Lucy was like, you know what, at that time she was the head of house, you know, and Ebuka asked, who did you say that Tochi was following, because you mentioned Nengi. Lucy on her own said she made that statement because when Nengi was the head of house, Tochi always did everything that Nengi wanted them to do, but when it's hers, it's like a big chore for him to actually do, you know, what, you know, she wanted him to do. And then there was a back and forth with Lucy and Tochi, and then again it spilled over from Lucy to Katerina. It was a very, very, very very interesting situation. Yes, guys, that happened. I think that was my highlights. Really, I really enjoyed that part. Katrina said that she never had issues, with Tochi. Tochi cannot lie when she is there. That they never had issues. She was asking Tochi if they had an issue and everything. And Tochi at that point, that when he asked for food, Katrina made him feel like he was coming from where there was no food, or he had no food where he was coming from. Now at that point, Tochi also talked about the whole Dorothy situation.
Don't come to me with who are you. I'm not following you to argue those ones. Chill. I'm not even trying to convince you of who I am. So I don't need you to convince me, but you are on TV.
And Dorothy in the house, saying that Tochi was waiting for her to greet him. And Dorothy also explained, there was a time that she would greet him, and then the next morning Tochi walks into the room, and that kind of silence when somebody is waiting for you to greet them. Yes, guys. So yeah, that was it. And Tochi, tried to clear the air and said, what, there was really that even if that happened, that he's not saying that Dorothy was lying, but even if that happened, that basically he didn't really say it like that, that when that alarm goes off, like for 2 minutes, you don't even see anybody in the house. At some point, Tochi was like, oh, Dorothy, who are you? And Dorothy was like, Google me. I am not even going to have that conversation with you. We are not going to do that. We are not beefing. And Tochi also made mention of another situation. He said that when Katerina left, that Dora was crying. And when he came to comfort her, Dora was like, pushed him away, like as if now you open door, say make Katrina leave house. And that really got me laughing. But when Prince came, Dorothy did not do like that. She accepted the hug with her full chest. And he also made mention of a situation involving either Lucy or Katrina, where they made food, and he came to collect food, and Katrina was packing food for a particular housemate, and he said maybe it was Prince. Yes. And not only did they keep food for Prince, they also kept extra in case he finished that one and said he wants to have another one. And he was like, he has not even had one plate, and you're even giving 2 plates to another person. That really got me. Like I laughed at this particular episode. So after that, we touched also. After that, they also talked about the whole Tochi following people around. Ebuka was like, why is this so much of an issue for Katrina that there was a clique in the house and Lucy? And Lucy was like, no, they never really had an issue with having a clique. But the thing is that it's a different thing being part of a clique, and it's a different thing following people you are not even part of a clique. That clique involves only Nengi, also Neo and V, and Tochi was just following them around. So Tochi was like, so you mean you came into the house and sat down, you did not move around, am I a statue? It was really funny. Away from that, we were also shown the clip where Tochi and Brighto were sitting at that dining table, and they were discussing the whole Prince and Nengi situation. Yes, Brighto was talking about Nengi and Prince, saying Prince wasn't financially buoyant enough to handle someone like Nengi, and basically Tochi was also there, agreeing to that. So when they came back to the studio, Ebuka asked Tochi, okay, what was that all about? Tochi, suddenly his high voice became so low, everybody was just laughing at him. He said at the end of the day, after trying to dribble us one way or the other, he tried to say, okay, he tried to be like, oh, that wasn't the reason, that this is what he said, he never really said anything about that, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, basically the guy tried to dribble us. But trust Oga Brighto, Oga Obonko, that I will call him now. Yeah, so he said that that's exactly what they said, that Prince not being financially capable enough to take care of somebody like Nengi, and he says that because he felt like to date somebody like Nengi, you need to be financially capable to sponsor trips for her, that basically she's a girl that goes on foreign trips almost every time. And he also adds that even he himself, he cannot do that, and he felt like Prince cannot do that, and Ebuka was like, okay, what made you feel that way? And he was like, he's got the profile, but he didn't think that Prince has the financial backing. And Ebuka asked him, what about Ozo? And he said at that time Ozo was not in the mix, it was just Prince and Nengi, and that he felt that Nengi was using Prince to catch crews and everything. So at some point, Ebuka asked him, you know what, okay, tell us, I mean, what is your opinion about Ozo? Do you think Ozo is much more financially capable, you know, to take care of Nengi? And he said no. Basically, he said no. Then Ebuka turned to Prince and said, okay, I mean, look at this whole situation. What do you think? And Prince said he doesn't concern himself with, you know, how people see him, you know, financially or his financial capacity. And I'm gonna quote what he said. He says, the poorer you think I am, the better for me, because if for any reason you need anything, you wouldn't come to me because you think I'm as financially incapable as you are. Ouch. Even Ebuka cover face at that. I'm like, Kai, this, you see Prince there, he's savage as F. Seriously, like, he doesn't say much, but when he opens down his mouth, savagery at its peak. What? So we now saw another clip of, you know, Watoni having a conversation with Trickity and Talenibaj, you know, about the whole sheeps thing, about how Lilo, you know, elbowed Erica, you know, to be with Eric, because at the beginning of the show it was Erica and Eric, you know, but then before they knew what was happening, it was Lilo and Eric. And we saw that, you know, clip where we went to investigate and came back and saw Ozo, you know, talking with Erica, you know, and Ebuka asked her, you know, I mean, what's this your spy work all about? You know, you trying to break ship. I mean, you talked a lot about ship, booed up and everything. And she was like, for her, it wasn't like that. She only needed a go-to person. And Ebuka was like, I mean, there was Trickity. And she said that Trickity was like friends with everyone. And Ebuka was like, okay, you wanted Trickity all by yourself. And she was like, not really. But at the end of the day, at the final week, she got that weight, you know, Bright. Oh, and Prince was also asked, you know, what he thought about that. And he said that he felt that Watoni had the need to, you know, in her own words, be booed up with someone, and it was like a progression from one guy to the other and everything. So maybe that is it for her. And she said for her it was just cruise and everything like that. Then a fan was, you know, invited via video. A fan sent a video where the fan asked, you know, Trickity about his age being the oldest. I mean, if it bothered him in the house, you know, how he, you know, saw everything, how he felt, you know, basically how he related with his fellow ex-housemates. And he said being the oldest in the house didn't affect him. You know, he said he tried to avoid some certain situation where somebody would disrespect him or insult him, you know. And he said, Ebuka asked him, did you hold back a lot in the house? And he said yes, you know. And even outside the house, he said sometimes they would just be having some certain conversations and he would just be looking at them like, I mean, these people, they never see anything yet. So yes, guys, that's it for tonight. That's exactly everything that happened tonight. All in all, it was a fun night. It was light, not too much basketballs, you know, small basketballs here and there, but it was really fun. Thank you guys so very much for being part of my channel. If you've not already subscribed, kindly click on the subscription button, click on the notification bell to let you know whenever I post any new video. Until I come your way again, I remain your darling girl, Ezine Williams. Have yourself a beautiful day ahead. Bye, guys.